아프리카 TV 프리급 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 2 코드 S The Coming Storm.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another day of the GSL Codas. Today is Group B. We wrapped up Group A just a few days ago. All of the non-Koreans competing in our tournament are out, both Scarlet and Special.
Do you mean to say that Parting is not a foreigner?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yes.
Because he plays on the NA server and plays like the NA server.
Yes,
so.
he cannon rushes a lot. He's actually one of the players I'm most excited to see playing here today.
Yeah.
Of course, we have Dark and INnoVation going up first. This is a match that is going to be totally crazy. I think Dark's supposed to take it, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I mean, INnoVation is somebody who's really been consistent throughout the ages.
Yeah. Here's our round of 8 so far. So we're going to see who's playing TY. Whoever wins this group gets to play TY, and whoever gets second place gets to play DRG.
And DRG, by the way, really outperforming, I think, everybody's expectations here. It was cool to see him advance, but for him to get out first is really, that's really something else.
Yeah, he's truly back at this point.
Yeah.
He looks fantastic. I think that he can really go far too.
We got a quick video, then we're going to start our games.
이시영 선수의 지명이 좀 있겠습니다. 이시영 선수 입장에서는 어떤 종족을 뽑는 게 가장 베스트예요?
더블을 뽑는 게 베스트긴 한데
예.
남은 사람이 좀 세가지고
오.
누굴 뽑아야 될지 잘 모르겠어요.
명우보다 제가 좀 더 나은 것 같고 상대하기 편한 것 같고 또 토스전이나 테트전보다는 저그전이 더 편하니까 또 희영 형 저도 많이 이겨봤고 좀 재밌을 것 같아요 그냥.
이시영 선수 최종 마음의 결정을 좀 하셨습니까? 아니면 더 이야기 듣고 싶은 선수가 있어요?
영우 얘기.
오! 박영우.
아니 뭐 저는 뽑아주면은 감사하다고 절하죠.
오. 사람 입장에서는 적으로 선택하고 싶다는
네.
생각.
보통은 맞는데 왠지 좀 다른 선택이 있지 않을까?
아니면 스페셜?
그렇죠.
그냥 데려가나요?
느낌상.
데려가나요? 원이사?
근데 이제 뺏길 거 생각하면.
와, 박영우예요.
오?
와, 지금 박영우 선수를 가장 먼저 선택을 했습니다.
오, 이거.
그냥 저그전 하고 싶은데
어.
병렬이는 뭔가 자꾸 뽑아달라고 해서 좀 그랬고 그냥 명우 잘하긴 하는데 그래도 잘 준비하면 이길 수 있을 것 같아가지고 뽑았어요.
와, 그래서 남은 선수들 중에서도 뭔가 좀 당기는 그런 선수들 있나요?
아 거의 확정인데
예.
얘기를 한번 들어보고 싶어가지고요.
오, 누구요?
대선이요.
아, 이재선.
네, 괜찮은 것 같아요.
괜찮아요?
쉬는 시간에 령우가 저 뽑아도 되냐고 했는데
네.
아무래도 뽑지 말라고 해도 뽑을 것 같고
네.
이미 받아들이고 있어요.
명우가 저를 뽑았으면 좋겠는 게 같이 DPG 멤버 같은 팀으로서 올라갈 수 있거든요. 그냥 같이 손잡고 올라가는 게 좋지 않나.
뭐 이신영 선수를 밟고 같이 올라갈 수 있다는
은근히 도발?
확신이 좀 있는 것
드디어
같은데요?
밟고 올라가죠 그냥 무조건.
오!
도발?
야, 도발 나왔고요.
제가 말을 잘못한 것 같은데
네.
그냥 저 뽑아줬으면 좋겠어요. 저는 진짜로 령우가 뽑으라는 사람 뽑을게요.
누굴 뽑을까요?
다른 조의 의견을 완전 무시하면 B조
네.
모두가 만족할 만한 조가 나올 수는
네.
있거든요.
원이상인가요? 아니면 이재선인가요? 와, 진짜 이재선이에요.
이번에는 좀 막 무조건 쉬운 조를 원하기보다
네.
게임을 오래 했는데 좀 한계를 좀 깨보고 싶어가지고 그렇게 마음을 좀 먹고 와서
자신의 한계를 깬다 했잖아요. 재선이가 저를 이긴 적이 없고요. 그리고 지금 제가 저조를 들어가면 DPG 대 카이지가 되거든요. 팀이. 근데 카이지가 DPG를 못 이겨요. 저희가 팀리그 다 이겼기 때문에 여기서라도 뭐 복수를 해야 되지 않을까 자존심을 걸고. 지금 여기서 저를 안 뽑으면은 그냥 겁나서 도망가는 것밖에 안 되거든요.
아니 저렇게 도발을 안 해도 저기에서 제일 쉽다고 생각했는데 뽑기 싫어졌어요.
잠깐만. 자, 말할 수 있는 기회 드릴게요. 원이사.
그냥 그 스토리 왜 이렇게 방방바가 안 되세요? 그거 있잖아요. 그 약간 이제 방송 재밌게 하려고 그 스토리 만든 거지. 제가 어떻게 감히 그런 마인드로 경기에 임하겠습니까? 그냥 저는 재밌게 말을 하자 그렇게 말한 거죠.
선이가 똑똑한 판단을 했으면 좋겠어요.
괜히
어떤?
포스 뽑지 말고 그냥 자기가 잘하는 저그전 해가지고 저랑 재밌는 경기 했으면 좋겠어요.
자기를
피니도.
뽑아라.
또 재밌게도 한정조식 모두 남아 있어요.
네. 자, 원희석 선수는 여기서 벽을 깨기 위해서는 자신의 선택하라고 말을 하다 말을 바꿨어요.
팀대팀.
됐어요.
야!
팀 됐습니다.
여기서 만약에 살아남는다면은 A조 저 타코 친구랑 스칼렛 친구도 만약 올라오면은 잡아먹고 싶어가지고. 그리고 태양이한테 복수도 하고 싶고. 그래가지고 그냥 저랑 다 연관돼 있어가지고 A조 분들이.
네.
그래서 B조로 꼭 오고 싶었어요.
근데 복수할 수 있는 그 조까지 완성이 좀 됐습니다.
Land of 16 INnoVation Dark Bunny Party
All right, this group is pretty crazy. Bunny definitely the underdog. INnoVation, Dark Partying. I think any of those guys could advance. I'm curious to see how Bunny will perform. He's been steadily improving, but Dark, the world champion of 2019, I feel like also has been continuously steadily improving. Partying's unpredictable. It's hard to track him. INnoVation's probably been the most consistent through all the eras of StarCraft. That's what we got here for Group B.
Yeah, it's a killer group, really. A lot of people have been calling this one the Group of Death. Don't know if I 100% agree with that, but I think if Bunny performs tonight, we could call it that, you know? Of course, we have 2 top 4 players from last season already in INnoVation and Partying, so obviously these people are in form. As you said, Dark is the reigning champion of the world. So it's a pretty sick group, and Bunny played his best StarCraft, I think, in the round of 24.
I agree. Let's see how he does here. But first, we have INnoVation versus Dark, and the results of this are really going to lay the groundwork for what the rest of this group is going to be like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're either going to be going up against an amazing Zerger Terran in the winners, and on the other side of this group, it's going to be, you know, who's better in what matchup, right? Like, let's say it's Bunny wins over there and it's against INnoVation. Crazy TVT for the winners, but it could be the other way around. Let's say Dark versus Partying. So many different ways this could all pan out, because I think
Really
Partying versus Bunny also is hard to call. Partying should be favored there, but I think if Bunny plays like he did in round of 24, it's a toss-up, right?
Yeah, and I mean, things can go wrong for Partying as well. We can talk more about that momentarily, though. We're going to be playing on Deathera, Ice and Chrome, and Eternal Empire between these two. I can't believe this is the first match for today. I know he wanted to play a Zerg, but, like, how do you pick Dark when it's your first pick in your group? It doesn't even make sense.
INnoVation looking very strong lately as well. Let's see how he performs in this best of 3. INnoVation versus Dark in Group B. Our first best of 3 starts now.
경기가 준비되었다. 한번 시작해 볼까? 카이지 게이밍 이노베이션 이신영 드래곤 피닉스 게이밍 다크 박영우
So to start things off, let's go ahead and characterize Dark's play here. He seems to be unbreakable as far as pushes go. Very robust early game. He's very good at being aggressive. Unlike, let's take Scarlet from Wednesday's match. Scarlet is very, very strong in the late game, but sometimes is broken on the 4th base by a push. Dark seems to be virtually unbreakable. He'll always barely hold it off.
Yeah.
All the way into the late game. I mean, we joked about it. You know, he has like 1 or 2 ultras.
Yeah.
And it barely is enough to fight him back. But he really knows how to manage that balancing act from the start of the game to the very, very end of the game. And also, he is a player who is able to be really aggressive with timings early on, too. And he's sort of the full package.
Yes, it's a good way to put it. I was going to say he's a fully balanced player.
Yeah. He's also more aggressive than, I would say, most of the Zergs, which is one of the reasons why he's scary. He will go with a very quick pool opening or something crazy, a Nidus play. very often, and almost always you see it work.
Yeah. He's got the full package. Like, he's got great macro, but he doesn't rely on that to win. You know, he's got great attacks, but he doesn't rely on that to win. He's got great defense. He doesn't rely on that to win. He kind of has the ultimate flexibility that few players have in this game.
He also seems to have the healthiest rotation out of all the Zerg players as far as build order selection in a best of 3, best of 5.
Let me think about that for 1 second. Yeah, I think you're right on that.
I think I'm
That
right.
That sounds about right. Like, I think Rogue is really up there too, just to be fair.
Yeah, I think he has been.
Yeah.
I'd say not this year as much. I think in the past he certainly has been, but I'd say right now, and then, you know, the second half of 2019, I think Dark's really been the guy for that. Now, over to INnoVation, you know, most StarCraft players are dominant in specific eras, and occasionally we'll have a player do it more than once, but INnoVation, I would say, for at least 4 different periods of StarCraft has been really on top.
Yeah.
And that's really something else, because this is a game that's changed more than almost any other game that's ever been out, right? I mean, the kind of patches that have been implemented, the expansion sets that have drastically altered the way the game's played. And INnoVation almost invariably comes out ahead of everybody in periods of time.
Yeah.
Which is really something else. I mean, you know, we have plenty of players who just kind of started to shine in Legacy of the Void. Players like Stats is an example, who was good, but when Legacy came out, Zest as well.
Yeah.
But when you take somebody like INnoVation, he's just always been on top. Even during the beta of the game, he was one of the good players.
Well, he's, you know, I think INnoVation, first off, he's close again to being the best player in the world again.
Yep.
He made the round of 4 last season, obviously, and, you know, had a very good run there. If he wins another GSL, I think you really got to consider him for GOAT, greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You know, because again, there is the only players that can be discussed in that, I think, are MVP, Serral, Rogue, Maru, and INnoVation. But like, if you give INnoVation any more, you got to actually look at what he's done. It's like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And like you said, just the time span of it is madness.
So we've got some pushback here from Dark on the map. As you can see, they get accelerated through these little green areas over here. I don't think it's going to do that much, though.
No.
This is not a real committed attack. It looks like it's 2 Ravagers and 2 Roaches, which is actually less than we ever normally see here with counterattacks. So in some sense, Dark is actually being even more efficient and you can see he's getting 14 drones behind this. So I think Dark is definitely bringing this game into a good spot for him. But I'm really more interested in seeing, you know, when Stim's done and medevacs are available, what kind of push we're going to have here from INnoVation.
Yeah, well, it seems like INnoVation is just going for a really standard big macro play, right? Banshee Hellion, 3 command centers, getting into double eBay. There's nothing too special about it, which is actually kind of what you want to see from INnoVation, because this is where he really shines. Whereas with Dark, it's like, yeah, he made like 5 Roaches, 2 of which became Ravagers. They didn't do anything at all. I guess they slowed down a little bit of the pressure at his front. But I don't think that bothers him too much.
Now,
This
I
might,
don't see any Overseer here. This is an unusual time to send these Banshees out. A lot of players get the Banshees to drive away the Roaches and the Ravagers, but to have this Cloak come in here with a delayed timing attack is pretty smart. He then flies in, and I mean, this is almost 20 drones.
Yeah, no, this is too much. This is crazy, the amount of damage. 20 drones.
And now with the rotation over here to the 3rd, the death count is only going to get higher here. And
I mean, he is wrecking at the moment. This is an insane amount of damage that's been done.
And even a player like Dark, I don't know if he can recover from this, but this is a pretty sneaky little transition here. You take the Banshees, you hold off the attack, you bring them back, get 2 get cloaked, and then come in here. And I mean, the number of kills, that's almost unheard of at this phase of the game here with the Banshee attack. So that's pretty incredible. And it looks like both are going to get away.
Those are Wings of Liberty Banshees right there, okay? Both in double-digit kills. That's madness.
Dude, now the push is going to come. Marines, tanks.
He's got that stim.
Yeah, he's got stim. He's headed northbound. 1-1 is going to finish. Zerg cannot make too many drones, so they're going to have to be on their back foot economically. And even then, this attack could be enough to really possibly kill Dark.
Well,
now,
just forcing him to make any units right now
Right.
is just something he does not want to do. It seems like Dark has enough at the moment. But, you know, one of the things that we always talk about with Dark, and it's definitely true, he's the best at fighting back from early damage.
yeah.
Whether it's self-inflicted or inflicted from his opponent. So this is a great chance for him to show what he's made of in that regard.
Right.
Because this looks completely undoable against a monster like INnoVation.
Well, he's taken out both those, I should say one of those tanks here. It seems like there's barely enough Roaches and Ravagers that,
Yeah.
you know, for all the kills on the workers that INnoVation got away with, the follow-up push, it almost set him back. You know, it was held off. Now, INnoVation's macro has been very smooth. We even see here the vastly superior army supply. He's far from finished. So Dark survives the first actual push out, but how will the second one do?
Yeah, well, the second one is actually the big one. Normally when you'd go for a build like this, a strategy like this, where you're going for just like some pressure, some harassment while going double engineering bay and 3 bases, it's really all about the 2-2 timing push, right?
Right.
It's like you basically hit 2-2 upgrades on your Marines at the same time that you max out, approximately. And then you have this ridiculously strong army. Plenty of tanks in there if that's what you went for, or mines, whichever one. Lots of medevacs, lots of Marines, and that's where you really try to put the screws on Zerg. So we'll see about that. Now, he is going to the main base with a double medevac drop. There's like plenty of units here already waiting. So don't forget, Dark has remade his whole economy.
Dark is going to come down here and try to take out this attack. I like the conservative approach here by INnoVation to just come in with 2 medevacs. He knows there's no Spire out here. There's no way these can be sniped. This is a safer way. I think, honestly, I thought he was going to do a push after the first push, but he's backed off and said, no, I'm going to play it safe here and just see if I can't eke out a little bit more damage and try to get ready for a much bigger push. And it looks like that attack is going to be coming out here now.
Yeah. All right, so he's got double factory going with siege tanks, which is going to make his push really, really strong as it comes up. Looks like he's going to go after this 5th base. You know, it's painful if Dark has to cancel this, so he does come up and surrounds it.
But this is a multi-pronged attack here. That was all to draw away from this push that's coming in over here. So many Banes coming down, and that was not good Banelink connection there. Now he snipes the tank. The other tanks are still far away enough that these Marines don't have real cover. This will allow him to try to do a bit of a balancing act here defensively.
And his 2-2 just finished, so this was like just a little tiny bit earlier than you'll normally see it hit, but it's, you know, he's got those upgrades now. The thing is, it has been whittled down a little bit.
Jesus, man, Dark is so good.
Yeah.
It makes it look like the Banshees that killed the drones are actually from a different game here.
No, I know.
Like, I don't.
Although that did feel a little bit like an anti-timing, right? Like I was talking about how you normally hit with 2-2 when you're maxed.
Very true.
He was basically maxed. He would have been if he hadn't lost that early army, but his 2-2 was just slightly not done. So
Yeah.
he fought for like 30 seconds without 2-2, which that actually changes a lot.
No, you're completely right. Had he waited maybe 4 or 5 more seconds and then attacked in, he would have had 2-2, and maybe he would have taken a better fight here. I almost think INnoVation might be overextending here, actually eating that corrosive bile.
Well, I think it is important for him to keep a lot of pressure on right now. You want to force your opponent to just continually be making units. He has a 2-upgrade advantage. He has siege tanks on the high ground. I mean, this should be INnoVation's moment.
Yeah, this is the moment that INnoVation needs to try to break through. He's trying to utilize his bottleneck here. Again, you know, one thing about Dark that is standing out to me out of the rest of his play in this game is that the bile shots are always efficient.
He's doing very well with biles.
He's forcing the medevacs to be microed away when they need to be healing the units. He's making sure they're connecting on tanks. He's actually putting them in spots that make it that you have to almost do a split in every single direction. And look, I mean, he's on 5 bases now. INnoVation's on 4. Oh, actually, I think INnoVation will finally get this base.
Yeah.
Pretty big, but I think Dark is still trying to expand down towards the lower left.
Yeah, Dark right now, he does have that 2-2 upgrade as well. The Hive is done, has a couple Vipers out here. Maybe with those Vipers, he can blinding cloud the siege tanks or something like that. Looks like a giant Ling counterattack coming through right now as well.
Yeah, this is pretty smart. When Terrence maxed out like this, there's not much that can actually go back to try to defend. At the same time, though, the push has so much muscle behind it. And I think we're actually going to see GG. I think INnoVation will actually take game 1. Bailings are going to be made here. Let's see if they can get done in time to possibly drive this back. Okay, we might actually have Dark surviving a little bit longer here. More Lings just below this, not being moved into the attack. GG, INnoVation takes game 1. Wow. I got to say, I'm impressed with both players. I think a lot of this goes back to those Banshees doing such a comical amount of damage early on. Dark survived for most of the game, but INnoVation never really got behind there. And I think Dark played basically a perfect game post Banshees killing all of his drones, but you know, so much of StarCraft is a butterfly effect, right? Something starts here and then we end up in a completely different place than we might have been otherwise. And so
that game, I think, really shows that. Really shows it.
Excellent strategic decision for INnoVation to spring the Cloaked Banshees after holding off the Roach Ravager. Very smart move. Ice and Chrome will be map number 2. INnoVation versus Dark continues on.
경기가 준비되었다. 한번 시작해 볼까? 카이지 게이밍 이노베이션 이신영. 드래곤 피닉스 게이밍 다크 박명우.
You know, the one thing I need to mention is why was he so unprepared for the Banshees when he saw a single Banshee attacking his Roach Ravager? And the only thing that comes to mind other than just a complete brain fart where he just didn't make a Spore, the only other thing that comes to mind would be, you know, a lot of times when people are rushing up into Battlecruiser tech, if Roach Ravager comes, they make a Banshee first to hold on against that. So maybe he thought it was a single defensive Banshee into Battlecruiser, which is a pretty popular way to play.
Oh, I think you might have a good read on that.
That's the only thing I can think of, because other than that, it's like, dude, you literally, a Banshee killed your Ravagers.
Well, it's like a decision tree that you have to be following correctly, right? It does seem like the Starport tech is really significant. You know, for what kind of choices are you going to make? What are you going to get with that? Because you're giving up something else with that. In this case, yeah, it does seem like he thought an air attack would come later with that Battlecruiser, and instead the Banshees flew through. There are no Spores, and that really cost Dark the game. I would be curious to see what kind of game we would have had the Banshees just been swatted away with proper defense and detection, because Dark looked really scary.
Well, just the fact that he was holding on so well, having lost 20 drones. 20 drones at that time, it's a massive amount. It's so much damage. Yeah, I actually want to see what Dark's late game will look like right now, because he's got a pretty big range of late games that he'll play. He does a lot of ultra-based stuff, always has. I want to see if he's into the lurkers. We've been seeing that pop up quite a bit lately.
Yeah, that's become more and more common.
That's kind of like, yeah, I feel like there's several possible end games. Me personally, I'm a really big fan of the way that DRG plays the end game, the kind of really powerful moves. But you know, we've seen a lot of these other players like Solar and whatnot go into these really cool lurker-based armies.
Yeah.
But I want to see what Dark's take is on that.
Yeah, this is, out of all the games we could have two players macroing and building up into something pretty dramatic, this is the two players I'm most excited to see what we're going to get here. I'm also wondering if INnoVation's going to end up getting any punches off at the start of the game like we had last time. The INnoVation, again, he seems to be entering into a form of Terran where he's got everything down to a T. Kind of like we saw Dark at the end of 2019, you know?
Okay.
He seemed to basically know everything perfectly. He had all the answers. He had everything sanded down, chiseled down to a fine point. And he just knew it. He just knew. He just knew what to do. He knew every step of the way. And INnoVation appears to be getting there. Especially in some of the not GSL matches. You know, just he's becoming a better and better player. And this is really the ultimate test for him here. He won one game against Dark. Can he do it a second time and actually pull through?
Yeah, well, it's nice to see INnoVation get back to that because it definitely felt like that was the case for a long time, you know, where he just kind of knew what to do at all points and his macro was better than everyone's, so there you go. But he seems like renewed lately. I think it probably has to do with the fact that there was a couple of pro Terran patches, so that probably like helps him a little bit, even mentally. You know, I think that that's an important thing to mention when a lot of these patches occur. You know, a lot of times what happens in the patch is a big difference, but it gives a mental edge as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We see right now INnoVation getting to push out here to the top. It looks like he's going to park a tank off of creep and try to fish out some of the Zerg units. Stim's going to finish as this comes in here.
I want to look at this push.
Yeah.
I want to call this push the half bunny.
The one-eared bunny. Yeah, this is cute. It's not a lot, but if it's used correctly, this can really give you a lot of value. Now, the second medevac, because I know normally we see two medevacs out on the map at the same time roaming. That's what INnoVation normally does. Instead, the other medevac's headed to the bottom.
Oh, his sling's actually glitched out there for a moment, so it doesn't get nearly as good an engagement as he was looking for, but still is able to clean this up.
Yeah, he's going to end up killing everything off. Now, here comes the second drop. Now, so far, it seems to me that INnoVation was basically hemorrhaging units, and even this drop seems like it should have gotten there while the Lings were attacking that tank. It seems like everything's a little bit hiccups.
Yeah, I feel like from what we saw, this one was the one that was supposed to actually do damage. You know, if you hit this just as he's surrounding everything, you're going to do a lot more. And if they're, you know, if you like unload it and it's not attacking Overlord right away, you know, maybe he doesn't see it at that moment because he's attacking into your little tank push.
Yeah. So much of StarCraft 2, because of how fast the game moves, is about having your opponent's screen in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
You know, and that, I think that was a moment that was intended to be like that there, where you're, you know, that the Zerg has to be very manual about how to get rid of the tanks on the low ground and have the Queens firing at the medevacs and pushing away the Marines, that maybe a medevac in the main would slip in undetected, kill off a lot of drones, pick up, leave, and that's where you've gotten ahead. In this case, Dark is basically denied both. Now will come the first push, but keep in mind, Baneling speed is done. 1-1 is still a ways off, but there's 9 more Banes being made. I don't think this push is going to work. In fact, I almost think INnoVation should probably pull away. Oh my God. Ooh. Here we go. An attack on the workers, and actually I thought he'd get a little bit more, but 6 is
not
definitely
bad.
enough. Yeah, that's enough. And now a counterattack with the Lings.
I love it. I love it.
And
Great moves from Dark.
If I've got a correct read on this, I also think that Dark probably has enough to hold this off. Now attacking the CC. INnoVation's not picked up. He picks up at the last second.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to end up killing the hatchery. Like, and that's what he needs, right? He's trying to attack this fourth base.
Like more Queens than Marines, Zartosis.
Almost.
Oh my God, and it's around from behind. Dark is just eating this army. What? All right. Well, he almost ate that army. But look, I mean, he smashed that. Beautifully done. And the wind has really been taken out of the sails here for INnoVation. I mean, it's hard to keep pushing, but he will proceed onward.
Well, he's got a lot of lung capacity, Tasteless. He's bringing his siege tanks down, and we're going to see if he can actually push through here. There are a lot of Queens, but with 2 more tanks and more 1-1 Marines.
Yeah, now 1-1 just finishes here for the Zerg. So this
deal.
is an ideal time if the Zerg needed to be attacked. with those upgrades finishing, that certainly helps. Really nice spread here. The Marines in the back, just enough in the front. It looks like INnoVation actually will hammer down this hatch. Dark says he cannot engage that.
Yeah, he purposefully gave that up.
Yeah, he sacked it.
That was a decision. He had a flanking group of Lings that actually caught a few units here and there. It looks like he actually killed more SCVs in this time. Look at that, 10 more SCVs died somewhere.
Now, one thing to note is that the counterattacks have kept the worker count very low. INnoVation's at 48 workers to the 78 of Dark. And this army, as scary as it is as a push, is also marooned in the middle of the map. It's not easy to pick this up with the tanks in siege mode, which means they may end up being sacked just like that hatchery was when Dark decides to try to close in on this. You can see there's a small group of units trying to come and reinforce within INnoVation's main army here, and it looks like part of that, just to the north of the screenshot, will. INnoVation masterfully maneuvering through the map here. A Ling counterattack to interrupt any more reinforcements.
Oh man, a lot of Lings and Banes actually do end up connecting there, but there is this third siege tank, and INnoVation still has a bulk of his army. In the meantime, Dark rolling in with more Banelings into the main base, killing even more SCVs.
I'm sorry, INnoVation has almost no economy here, but maybe enough of a push to lay the killing blows down here on Dark.
Oh, this is a problem right now for Dark. Look at this, just everything being plowed through, and INnoVation's gonna have 2-2 done soon.
Oh, that's it,
Dark had some beautiful counterattacks, but it just hasn't been enough.
INnoVation with no economy, but Dark with no defense. The push continues to come through. A lot of Banelings are being camped up here in the north. Right now, it's gonna be up to Dark to try to assemble an army, come in here and close this out, and then outlast INnoVation in this game. But if he does not do that right here, right now, this game will go to INnoVation.
All right, we have the Banelings rolling in on top of the siege tanks. They actually end up connecting a lot with those tanks as they get picked off. The queen count going down lower and lower. Almost nothing left over as more Marines rally in.
There's a few more Banes coming in. Good targeting by INnoVation. Another pickup. He backs off. It's 30 SCVs to 75 drones. INnoVation has to get the killing blow off right here, right now. He doesn't even have, an SCV on every single mineral in his natural. That's how low it is.
Yeah, no, it's very, very low at the moment. But let's not forget, he's up 2 upgrades. He's still got a huge medevac count, and the creep spread is not so strong anymore.
One tank in this, a light foothold will be set up outside the creep. Another small counterattack. The Banes are going to come forward here. Marines are being, oh my God, that was the perfect split. That actually, he might have just maneuvered that to a moment where he can try to break this hatchery down here. Hatchery getting lower, lower. Is he going to get targeted down? INnoVation splitting is just too good. His control is just too good. He's going to end up taking out the natural hatchery. GG. What a game. Oh my God.
Yeah, INnoVation looking pretty darn
strong.
Dude.
That was crazy.
Instead of killing 20 drones, he lost 20 of his own faceless and still was able to take it down.
That was an insane game there. Dark, look, if he had held off that attack, there was one moment specifically where the Banes just were split against perfectly enough by the Marines. That was where he was able to lay it out.
I tell you what, though, I think that the root of this game goes back even a little bit further. The 4th base is generally the critical moment, and instead of trying to crush the attack on his 4th, he counterattacked. Was that a mistake?
We're going to a break. When we come back, Bunny versus Party. Don't go away.